What would you recommend for a retired, 60 plus, single person with no children? A will or a living trust? There's a lot of details I would need to know before I would give a formal recommendation, but in general, I feel comfortable saying a trust to avoid extended family probate. So, based on the very few facts that I have here, I know that you're single with no kids. So, that means that the probate, so all probates, every probate will necessarily involve notifying next of kin. Even if they're excluded from the will, even if they're not going to receive any inheritance, all probate requires you to notify next of kin. So when you're single and no kids, we're necessarily talking about parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. In my experience, once it gets a little more remote like that, it's typically a little more complicated, and probate typically, not always, typically is a little bit more expensive and drawn out. So if it's important for you to avoid that mess for whoever your heirs are, then a trust helps you avoid that. Another side of the answer is that because you're over 60 years old and retired, it is more likely that you know what your assets are and that your portfolio of assets is closer to being static than growing. Right? I guess that's the polite way of saying you're on the older side. I don't know. I'm sorry if that's a little too indelicate. But look, when you're younger and you're constantly changing bank accounts and rolling over 401ks and changing jobs, making sure that all of your assets are properly named and transferred into a trust is difficult. It's really hard to keep track of all that. But if you're retired and you're on fixed income, possibly, or you kind of know, look, man, I'm a Vanguard guy. All my stuff is in Vanguard. It's going to be until the day I die, many, many years from now. Then it's much easier to sort out and figure out how to retitle or move your assets into your trust. And that's a key flaw of trust planning. When you do a trust, when you're either too young or your assets are in flux, if you miss even one asset, one account, one piece of real estate or something like that, one life insurance policy, then you have to go through probate anyway. And what was the point of all that? Yes, the other assets don't have to go through probate, but the process of probate will exist, and it is the pain that you were trying to avoid altogether. So for that reason, based on your older age, which to me indicates that your assets will be more knowable, and the fact that you will have an extended family to go through probate, those are two reasons why I think doing a trust makes the most sense from the limited information I have. I give this information based on my 20 plus years of experience as a New York probate attorney and professional executor, and author of the books How Probate Works and How to Hire a Professional Executor. Hope you found this helpful. Take care.